Does that mean the Focus is finally retired? Yeah, I'm out here. We're just out riding around. It's Easter Sunday. Turned out to be a beautiful day, so yeah, we're out just cruising around, and I figured while we were out, might as well come and check out some of this, what's basically family history. So this here is what's left of a 75 Trans Am. Got a 403 in it. Best friend built, I don't know, 25 years ago. It's been sitting around out here being pieced together and taken apart for a couple decades. As you can see, there's really not much left of it. I guess at some point the window was left down. Last time I actually looked at this thing, yeah, there it is. You see how the quarter panel is Swiss cheese, and you can actually see all the way down to the ground. I think this one's done. And there's a Camaro RS. It belongs to that guy's sister. Got a 3.8 liter in it. Transmission went out of it years ago. It's been parked right there ever since. Brother actually picked that up for one of his kids. It's my understanding that thing still runs and drives, or at least it did when it was parked there. Yeah, they're pretty well scattered all over the property. So the one on the left is a Lumina, I think it's an LTZ. It's got the twin cam 3.4 liter in it. It doesn't have reverse, and we just couldn't seem to keep the timing belt rollers good on it. Thing run like a champ when it ran, but just can't keep it running. This one that best friend picked up from the neighbor. I think he paid like 50 bucks for it. Of course, it looked a lot better than this. Guy was gonna scrap it. Well, the interior's still fairly nice. This one might be able to be saved. I mean, if you're into that 3.4 liter thing. This one, I think, is a Buick Century. Actually belonged to the great grandma. See the big hole here where the land's washing away into the ditch? They're getting dangerously close. Uh-oh, there's a window missing. This thing was actually driven to this property and ran and drove like a champ, but it's been sitting right here like this for, I don't know, 25 years, maybe a little more. She's getting pretty rough. Derek might be sad to see that one. But it's still all there. I mean, that driver's window was there. I don't know if it's broken or what. Pretty straight. Like I said, it's been sitting here for a long time. Now this one right here is quite a story. My uncle actually bought this in 1983. It's a 1983 Trans Am, some kind of special edition. Had the hubcaps on the turbine wheels. This thing looked like brand new. Of course, he bought it as an insurance wreck. So my dad, my uncle, and the guy that owns it now actually took it out playing with it like a go-kart when they'd been drinking, and the guy that owns it now wrecked it. Caused this damage right here, right after they got done fixing it. So he bought the car. Also ran and drove when parked 25 or 30 years ago. It's pretty well sunk in. There may not be any floor pans left. Oh, door don't want to open. I can't get the other one open because it's going to drag the ground. I remember this car being really cool when I was a kid. Alright, we're into a different section here. It's just this is kind of an accumulation. That Blazer back there was the older daughter's daily driver. I can't remember what that one was. It just showed up. I think that Firebird was bought for parts. Little 99 Escort here. That was a good little car until somebody pulled out in front of it. Dodge Peon. That was the best friend's daily driver. Not sure what the story is on this one, but there's really nothing left of it. There's Grandma's Cavalier. It got in a little fender bender. I believe that old Chevy right there was just bought for parts. That's a 70, I think it's a 70 F100 302. Grandpa bought that one new, and it got passed around the family quite a bit. This one's probably still worth saving. I believe it was parked because the rag joint went bad, and well, it was no fun to ride in. Now some critter's been in there wreaking havoc. That's the seat torn up. It's still fairly straight, not a crazy amount of rust. That used to be a Chrysler New Yorker. My friend got the idea to cut the top off, cut it in half, and rig a fuel system so he could just drag it around like that, because, you know, sometimes crazy things happen around these guys. Old turbo Trans Am pace car. That one was bought for parts. There's probably still some stuff off of here that people would really want. But the front clip's gone, engine and transmission's gone. Windshield's caved in. Somebody come out here and vandalized all kinds of stuff. Vinyl seat. Strange to any Trans Am I've seen. It's got the mirrored T-tops. I would assume, being a turbo Trans Am, that one would have been turbo 301. There's still more further back. I'll be right back. Oh look, a set of bicycle mags, aluminum. Some of y'all probably remember those. So this was actually mine. I bought from a friend for 50 bucks. He didn't have a title to it, but it ran. I wrote it. And I actually have one that I used, that one for parts to fix up. They ended up selling it. And I'm told my 82 Nighthawk is out here somewhere. 55 Chevy, I believe. Oh, yeah, see, the land is sliding into this ravine here. These things have been parked here forever. That El Camino right there, I can remember riding around in the back of that thing when I was a kid. So now we're into the next little section. Not sure what that is. There's a bunch of this stuff out here that I don't really know the story about, but I assure you that everything has a story. Like that old red truck right there. It used to belong to the grandpa. This thing's been out here my entire life, and I've never once seen it run or drive. It used to sit in front of the barn out in front of the property. I think that was a cow thing right there. Tree's not going to help matters. And except for people busting out windows. Oh look, the key's still in it. It's pretty much still all here. I'm not even going to try to get that hood open. But it is in there. There's Mom's Celebrity. She bought that one new in, I think it was 1985. That thing was pretty cool back then. Me and the son actually drug it out of the field on the other side of the property, and we're going to drive it, but evidently the mud dauber's got in the engine and made a mess of things, so come up to a stop and the oil light would flash at you, so we abandoned hope. Eurosport. When was the last time anybody seen a two-door Celebrity? Old Monte Carlo sitting over there. Dad used to drive that one. The trees growing up through the middle of it should be some indication of how long it's been there. There's the license plate back there. I think this is one that had the swivel buckets. Yeah, it is. You see the swivel over there? You get license plate. License plate says 1989. When I first started driving, I had a 75 Monte Carlo similar to this. I think this one's a 77. But yeah, there's the platform for the swivel buckets. Just pull a lever, flip the seat sideways, and dive right out. Also, floor shift console. Kind of cool for a Monte Carlo. Wouldn't say that there's much left of that one though. It might have been here for just a minute. Considering the hood laying off to the side over there, I wouldn't doubt that the engine came out of it in this very spot. Oh, here we go. Okay, K5 Blazer. Look at the size of the tree growing up through the engine on that one. It's a little bit rotty. Y'all got any guesses on how long that's been here? Just to give you an idea how big that tree is. I wouldn't think there's even parts left on this one. There's a cool one. It's a Vega GT. And yes, again, the tree. Pretty good size. This one got some front end damage. Should smack something pretty good. Oh, I'm sorry. It's an Astra. Unless that fender goes on something else, which I wouldn't be surprised. But you can almost see the remnants of the stripes. Yeah, it is an Astra. Pinto station wagon. Monza. They had a few of these. The dad actually still has a couple of Monza Spiders sitting out at his property. I always kind of thought these were neat little cars. The Vegas or the Monza. Throwing a 3.8, you know, like the one that Cutlass right there has in it. That one actually belonged to the daughter in the mid-90s. Not sure what the deal was with it. She didn't drive it much. It just found its way out here. Little Buick Skyhawk. Sorry about the camera shaking. There's a lot to negotiate here. Bucket seats, floor shifter. Yeah, it's a Skyhawk. It's like a fancy Sunbird. So that white S10 right there. A friend actually bought it to do a V8 swap. Well, projects with this family tend to end up like this. But he bought it with no engine in it. Found a engine that somebody told him was a 305 or 350, but when we measured it, it was 305. Little Mercury Bobcat, same thing as a Ford Pinto. Would beat the crap out of that thing. It probably still runs. And then the Acura, what is it, Vigor? It's a fancy Accord, basically. Not sure what happened to the transmission. This one belonged to a friend. It was a pretty cool car, but, well, it ended up here, like this. Oh, that's actually an Accord Coupe. How about that? That's a shame. As long as it's been sitting here with that minimal amount of rust on it. So that would make that engine in there an F22. And those things are good for 300 miles, or 300,000 miles. Yes, it is an F22 A4. You know, I'm seeing a fixer-upper sitting right here. Bet I can still find parts for it too. Make a little noise because I don't want a critter jumping out at me. I've seen Accords like this in worse shape driving down the road. Let me see if I can find a year. It's a 1991. These are the good ones. That's a 1992 Olds Delta 88. That one actually used to belong to me too. I sold it to a friend who promptly wrecked it. That thing, it's 3.8, tune port 3.8. Those things are indestructible. I could probably throw a battery and some gas in that thing and start it right up. Being the 92 Delta 88, it wasn't anything terribly fancy, but I didn't mind it as my daily driver. Vandalism out here. And there's the old 64.5 Mustang. The oldest brother bought that when he was in high school. I think he was something like 14. And of course he had big plans, but this is how it turned out. Not sure if this would be worth messing with or what, but it is a 64.5 Mustang. I know some of you Ford guys are probably drooling. You can't just let that sit out there and rot. Well, here it is. But that's about all for this property. I'm gonna go jump back on my bike and enjoy this beautiful day. Y'all do the same.